Now you may not like it, but this is what peak gamer efficiency looks like. Our girl Maple rode in a gator's mouth, and on one hand I'm not surprised, but I am still surprised on the other hand. The fact that the game developers are at the very least learning, they're saying don't give it a stomach, now they realize they can't give it insides at all, because as a gator tries to chomp down on our girl, she goes into her sheep's wool form, and the fact that she controls it, like if she looks this way, it looks this way, if she does a roll, it does a roll, and I'm like, the fact that Pain was having this dramatic Super Saiyan, like this is the big shonen final showdown, and he just ups and leaves like, I'm out of the mood at this point, like I can't deal with this BS, and honestly, you gotta hand it to Maple, probably my favorite Bofuri Season 2 episode by far. Now we actually do have some good news. So we had a 2-week break for Bofuri a little while back, and in doing so, most likely they would have run out of TV slots to air the show in Japan, meaning they'd have to find extra slots, and honestly, episodes 11 and 12 are up in the air on when we would receive them. Luckily for us, there will be no further delays, so by the end of this month, we will have watched episode 10. Going into next month, we're going to have episode 11 and 12 weekly, so there's going to be no further delays, it was announced, and that's really good news for Bofuri fans, because honestly, a lot of us were expecting we might have to wait a month or so before potentially seeing these episodes, so great news overall after watching, in my opinion, the best Bofuri episode of Season 2. Now, I do have a full live reaction available on my Patreon, so if you want to see my full uncut thoughts, head on over there and consider supporting. Really, that gator, it shook me. I mean, at first I'm just kind of dumbfounded, right? Because Maple being Maple, you just kind of expect the weird things to occur. But as it continues on and the gator joke keeps on lingering, you really just find yourself breaking, or at least that's how I felt, because I think what makes this show so good is it almost has like the directing of secondhand embarrassment. But in this case, it's secondhand comedy, because just the fact that you're literally having Sally in the background watching this dramatic, here's a phoenix versus dragon, look at these two badasses, they're going all out, this is the battle of a lifetime for them, who's the strongest, we're gonna find out. Sally's just waiting to maybe pick off the remaining one because, you know, we'll let them wear each other out. And then in comes Gatormouth, and just the fact that she's not even like trying to kill things, she's just shooting. As I keep saying, Maple kind of feels like if she was an 8-year-old, with the power of the Hulk. Could you imagine? I mean, Hulk's already usually a pretty destructive force because he's kind of out of control half the time, but could you imagine an 8-year-old with that type of power? That's basically Maple, and it is a damn good thing that this is just a video game. This isn't a trapped in a video game, fear for your life, because there would be so many casualties just caught up in the crossfire. One of the first moments in this episode is looking at Syrup, who just recently evolved, destroy a complete road. Like, it wasn't starting out as a road, it was just a forest, but after the destructive laser blast of death, it basically became a road, because what else are you going to use that giant paved area for? It is insane to see what she can do, and I think the reason I found this to be such a compelling episode is because it wasn't just Maple focused. It wasn't just Sally focused, they focused on Maple Tree in general, and even some of the supporting side casts that we've come to know and love. They constantly, because this is a new event, right? They're basically in the first of the 2 rounds that's going to happen. The more enemies you kill, the more points you get, but also you have basically 1 life. So if you lose, you're obviously not going to get the bonus for surviving. So the fact of the matter is, you could seemingly work together, but only the kill blows will end up getting the points. So you get to focus on everyone, and the fact that they all have their pets now, it was really nice to get a moment of each of them. And something that I have mentioned before, at least once or twice, but I gotta keep mentioning every time it blows me away in a pretty savage way, all things considered, is that this show is surprisingly brutal and violent. Now, there's no blood. When characters dies or monster dies, they have this cube animation that kind of like dissolves them, so it's not brutal in the way of like, ooh, look at that gore fest. But you can't tell me, when you look at a giant turtle come slamming down body slam style, like this is what Pokemon would be if we really had it in reality. A giant turtle flattens a monster with the goofiest, silliest face, but you can't tell me that's not brutal and savage. Honestly, I think the worst one was when the giant snake comes in and there's like this boar creature and it's coiled around and it's crushing its insides. What's happening in that moment is you're crushing the bones and organs of this living creature. I mean, yes, it's a video game, but given the realism of this environment, I have to admit, I feel like I'd be one of those players who probably would just go on like farming adventures in this game or have slice of life adventures, because I think I'd feel too bad because half of the creatures just look so adorable, or they're so silly you just feel bad for hurting them. But man, it gets brutal in these moments, but to just focus on all of them, whether it's our new favorite armor, which honestly, I still like the design of this thing when it merges onto our boy, he's doing fire fists or shadow fists. It's just nice to see all of them, and rather than just painting the focus on we're gonna just watch Maple be silly, and that can get boring eventually. If every episode was just dedicated on her goofing off and laughing at the carnage and death that she causes, eventually you won't be laughing as hard as you do. But what season 2 did a really good job with is it kind of shifted the focus more to the other characters. So there's this moment where our two girls they're riding on their new bears, right? They're giant bears at this point, and they realize Maple's getting swarmed. Usually what would happen in these scenes, if we kind of rewind back to season 1, is we would just see it from Maple's perspective. And it's funny, it's shocking, because we've never seen anything quite like that. But with season 2, what they decided to do was they kind of get in there and they see the giant alien just stomping around being carnage, and they just turn around and they say, nah, we're not going to get involved. That's what makes that entire scene funny. We've seen similar moments, but the fact that they allow these characters to just in the distance be like, I'm gonna walk away from this dramatic battle because this just killed the mood, or we're just gonna get away because we'll probably get crushed by her if we even try to get in there, so we're just gonna let Maple be Maple. Or the unexpected alligator mouth, right? It's just, that's what makes this a very refreshing season. It doesn't really feel like it's trying to be season 1 again, where it's just like, ooh, how can we stump Maple? Or how's Maple gonna break the game? At this point, the game just understands that Maple is a part of the formula. It doesn't change the fact that they get pissed off and they rant to the game developers that they made something that's just cheating, but the fact that the game developers are actively trying to patch things and do things in different ways, they're no longer giving these monsters stomachs so that she can't blow it from the inside out. I love the fact that things are evolving, but the fact that we're focusing a lot more on the side cast of Maple Tree, I think really does make this season pop quite a bit, and honestly, I'm just glad that it was only a couple week break and we're just gonna finish this season strong. I could watch as many episodes of this show than I could possibly imagine. If they had 100 episodes, I could probably watch 100. If they give us 24 episodes, I can probably watch 24. Like, it's just, to me, if they make it, I'm gonna watch it and I'm probably gonna enjoy it. It just feels like watching your favorite gamers on Twitch play a game that just is so fun because it's a bunch of friends having fun and just watching this game developer or multiple game developers try to stump Maple but make a balanced experience, and damn, even when it's not balanced, it is such a fun time to follow. And based on the characters' smiles, they're having a fun time as well. Even if you didn't think this was the best episode of season 2, I would be shocked to find anyone who said it wasn't a fun episode at the very least. I think the comedy hit perfectly for me. There was a good variety of action. There was some clever ways of strategy. I love the fact of with the slime mimic, basically a 2v1, and the fact that this event you want to stay alive for the bonus points, you basically just get the hell out of there, you hide behind a rock, and you use your mimic in order to make it look like you're defeated with the kill effect. That's a really cool little detail that goes a long way to really show that there is tactics underneath this goofy exterior. But thoughts and feelings yourself down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course. Be sure to ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload on the channel, and as I mentioned, we do have that full live reaction available on my Patreon, and while you're there you can also get a video shoutout. So today we have Darian Smith, James V, 97, Xeno, and ZZ. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.